All right, guys, what's up? Welcome back to the Divergent podcast. Today, we got my friend Leo on. We're going to go into some deep conversations about stories and about what he has going on in the past and what he's got going on right now. Leo got started in Ecom, and then from that, he moved his way into mentoring people one-on-one, such as actors and crypto whales, and specifically helping them change their paradigm, which we're going to get into as well. He's been on some crazy trips traveling, some amazing stories, and his mission right now is to bring light to as many people as possible and help them find their purpose, helping them max out their potential through God specifically. So, Leo, appreciate you jumping on. How's everything been?
Well, look, I appreciate that intro because now now they get to actually get a lot more of an understanding. And I'll be honest, this is going this is going to be expanding a lot on those ideas because of the fact that I think the past is cool. The past is matters a little bit. What does it give you? It gives you a little bit of authority, I guess. Like the examples you gave of my one-on-one clients, those were just my first couple one-on-one clients. So what matters are the clients that I'm working with now. What matters are the clients I'm going to be working with in 10 years. Are we allowed to kind of
Yeah,
curse a
yeah,
little bit
yeah.
on this, right?
100%. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, that's what really matters. And I feel like since we're both the same age, since we're both very young, yes, we've accomplished a lot. Yes, we've done some good things for our age, and we get to sit here and say, we're the top whatever percent for our age, and that's cool. But what's the trajectory like? What's it gonna be like in 3 years from now, 5 years from now, decades from now? That's what really matters, and I feel like that's really where you have the edge. And even however many views this gets next week or in the first month, I'm sure later on people are gonna come back and it's gonna be uh, a gem to find. If you knew whoever kind of the most valuable person was for you in your life and whoever you feel like is someone that you want to kind of follow the footsteps of, imagine you could meet them. Imagine you could have a conversation with them when they were 20, when they were, just making it, and when they had the blueprint in their mind before time took over for them to go ahead and take over. So yes, I'm doing great, and yeah, we're ready to go.
I love that. That's huge, guys. Past authority, but what truly matters is the present and what you're going to be doing in the future. How you're
Yeah,
going to be helping
well,
people out.
I feel like we might have similar ideas, perspectives on AI or the future. The next 3 years is going to be kind of like decades. So, I think if we don't focus on the future enough, like we might get left in the past. So,
Yeah. What do you think about that, by the way? AI and kind of AI versus nature, AI versus God. How are you balancing that? What do you think is going to be in the future with AI?
you said AI versus nature and then AI versus God. So, uh, there's a lot of kind of special people which have been telling me different things. Some people that are very high up that actually know the information, and some people that are, you could just say, a little bit good at mythical thinking.
Hmm.
So when they hit me with a bar, or hit me with a expectation that they have, it hits me maybe more than it should, but I take everything into account. There's extremely negative kind of possibilities, obviously, and I feel like we do focus on that a lot. Maybe the people that are in control of it should focus on it a little bit more. But, as much as we can focus on the positive, as much as we can focus on, like, this is a situation of things. Yes, things can go bad, but it's almost too late. Like, we can't reverse. So
Interesting.
this is something which is going to happen either way. Either way, right now we're on pace for it to outtake human intelligence and overtake it by like 100 times, by 1,000 times. I don't know all the things you've heard, but that's
Yeah.
what everybody's saying. This is not a lie. And so, with that being said, you kind of have to be like, okay, well, what's the best we can do out of this? The great part is that it's 100% possible that there's a reality that this creates unlimited abundance for like every person, or at least as much people as possible. It might either put most people in a matrix, and then the small percentage of people will be all good, or everybody here's something I guess sounds good. Rather than right now, the only reason not all humans, I mean, there's people that kind of go up in Maslow's law, and there's people that transcend, but probably the reason most people don't is because, yes, they're stuck in like a mental matrix and everything, but also in the physical world, they're stuck with their, you're a little bit, you're a little bit stuck there. I think we're good. They're kind of stuck in their jobs and they're stuck with their responsibilities. The humans are basically being robots. But now we have a chance for the robots to be robots and the humans to be humans. So, okay, the humans can be humans, which is great, but we all seen what's the name of that movie? Like Wally or something like that,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
We
Wally.
we all
Yeah.
seen that movie, right? The humans, I guess they're humans, like the robots are doing everything, but we don't want to be those humans, right? I remember that movie when I was little. That's funny. Um it just came to my mind. But we don't want to be those humans. We might as well be superhumans. We might as well become the highest version that we can be. And so great, like we get to focus more on our self-development and our spiritual development, and we get to focus more on God, and we get to tap in more to that. Like we're gonna have to. Um and I feel like if we do that, we can collectively kind of manifest the best possible outcome. But also, if we're all doing that, I mean, doesn't it only make sense that everything should go good if we do that? But if we start to if we start to be taken over by like weird energies and start to create like a warfare mentality and fear and everything, then this inevitable truth of it taking over might just cause resistance, and things that we don't want to happen might happen. So this is something where we all kind of got to be on the same page. So I would love if there was 5 billion people listening to me right now, but best we can do is spread the message and bring it into the collective consciousness.
This, I agree. This can be interesting how this plays out, especially in the next 20, 50 years, how everything goes down. Talking about
3 to 5 years.
yeah, actually, you know what? Yeah, 100%. That quick. It's actually, you saying that gives me a little bit chills down my back knowing that it's that
Yeah,
soon.
yeah. There's someone who I know who I speak with sometimes, and he knows like a lot of those people like working on it, and has some pretty big connections. And then when I say like, oh, 5 to 10 years, 3 to 5 years, he's like more like 1 to 2 years, more like months.
Dude.
I'm like I'm like okay.
I don't think people understand that, like, AI and all this intelligence is developing quicker than we can, and that we know that it is. Like, it's getting
Yeah.
quicker, getting faster, it's getting smarter. It's just crazy to think about. Yeah, you're 100 on the dot. I'm with you on that. Wow.
Well, I don't want to talk on anything that I'm not an expert on, but I believe they're now using AI to work on the AI, and the AI that they're using to work on the AI is only going to get smarter. So it's like an exponential. So, so yeah. But I think it's funny that we're starting this off with like the maximum future,
Yeah.
right? But it's true. It's true that it's it's pretty important. But I guess that asks you the question. We can kind of end off this idea with this thought for everybody is like, okay, that's great, wow, but now I'm kind of like I feel like in a weird position. That's awareness, that's great. Now you got the awareness, but let yourself let yourself ask yourself this. Okay, let's say the world is completely different in 6 months. Let's say hypothetically something crazy were to happen, and you don't know if whether you're going to be good, and or you don't know whether you'll be in a like done, right? You don't know if the world will be done, or you don't know if the world will be good. Like even take AI out of account. Just ask yourself this. So, like what would you do in that sense? If there was potentially 6 months, but you don't know if there's light at the end of the tunnel, or if there's an end. So, a lot of people, they'll be like, okay, well, I'll just go down hedonism. A lot of people, they'll be like, okay, well, I'll just go down a spiritual path. A lot of people, they'll be like, oh, well, I guess I'll just do what I'm doing, whatever the case is. probably the best, if everybody asks themselves this, that would give you an idea of like maybe why you're doing what you're doing and what the best thing could be, to think ahead. The best possible answer would be, if you're doing something based on your purpose, if you're doing something which puts you in an eternal flow, like an eternal presence, in that eternal presence, well, I'm saying eternal, but in that current presence, it creates an eternal feeling where that time is just the most valuable time in the world. So it's kind of like if you went like the crash out route, like shit, I'm just gonna like live in full happiness, not care about anything. It's kind of like that where you get the full presence, you get to maximize life, and maybe you make other certain decisions. Maybe you're going to take this trip. Maybe you're going to talk to this person. Maybe you're going to make this life changing decision. Maybe you're going to give something a try. So you do that. It's kind of a little bit like, oh, fuck it. But at the same time, if you're doing that, then if there is 50% chance light at the end of the tunnel, then what would happen is that you put yourself in a position where you actually end up in a much better position because you did those things. It's like, oh, wait, that was just a sense of urgency which pushed me. Wait, there was actually nothing. Everything is fine now. What just happened? I just, in 6 months, lived life way better. In 6 months, I just got myself on a better path. I just moved with more urgency. I lived way more presently, and I was doing my purpose. And within that full devotion of not wasting any time, within that full devotion of maybe not scrolling on your phone too much, not doing too much bad habits, not wasting life, bro. This is all life. See, those 6 months can also be an example of like 60 years. But so not wasting life, maximizing life during that time, and maximizing maybe your decisions for success. Like, let's see how successful I could get during this time. Like, um, I guess people like us would think that way, or certain successful people watching this. So yeah, in that sense, you're moving with a sense of urgency to put yourself in a better position in the future, but in the present moment, you're essentially doing what you're doing, not fully, because you don't know fully if there's going to be an outcome. So you're not only acting based on the outcome, but you're acting on what you're doing now with love for the moment, with love with what you're doing. Like, I don't care. Like, I'm just doing it just to do it. And that is kind of the highest form of anything you could do. That's the highest form of anything you could do in any career or way of life, lifestyle design. Although I teach a lot of kind of performance and specific things, to help people become more successful in their own thing or in their own life. A lot of it is lifestyle design. So, a lot of people are very good at performance and doing all those things, but maybe they don't live a life that is like that fun. They're
Yeah.
very good at doing their mission. And that's all cool. Like they're doing their mission. They're basically kind of sacrificing for the world's benefits, right? So they're putting their talents to work and creating cool businesses or whatever. Thank you. But then there's also a lot of people that are like, well, I want to also live the most abundant life possible. I want to travel to all the places I want. I want to build the best relationships. I want to feel the best feelings, be closer to God, all those things. Well, you can have both, and I help people a lot both on those things. And that question can kind of give you an idea of maybe what you can do a little bit better on both sides for yourself and for your life, uh, and actually have it with a sense of urgency.
100%. That was really powerful. I 100% agree. I actually used to do that when I was in school, 6 months. And I think that's huge, especially with urgency. What would I do now? What do I do then? The different paths of life that you can take based on the different choices that you make. Question for you. That question that you just asked with the 6 months and that paradigm, is that one of the things that you were talking about with those actors and the crypto whale and when you're helping people shift their paradigm,
Mm.
or go into that, elaborate on that, because that's
Only
very
time I've asked that, I think it came to me while I was. It's not something I like wrote down and I thought of. I'm like, this is good, but I wasn't planning to say it, but it kind of was in correspondence with what we were talking about. It's a couple pieces I put together based on a lot of info I was hearing. Like I study, I, I I'm a study person. Like, sure, people are making fun of Luke Belmar for saying I study. Hopefully, people don't stop studying because of that meme. Because studying is the answer. Like I study, study, study everything, and so even topics like this, um, and so yeah, based on a lot of info I was hearing, even in like a seminar, and it was kind of cool, kind of put me in that kind of thought that you're thinking like, oh, like what the.
Yeah.
So, and then I think a couple days after that, there was a I was hosting a mastermind call. So I have a mastermind, although I do a lot of one-on-one stuff, etc. And so I was public speaking to them. I think it was like an hour long call, and it kind of came out during that call, and I watched it back, and I was like, damn, that's actually crazy. And so yeah, I guess it came back now. So that's all it is.
That's
What
powerful.
I Yeah, is the question kind of also trying to figure out like ways I help people?
Yeah, yeah. If someone was in a position where they just felt like something's not clicking and they wanted that paradigm shift, what is a paradigm shift to others, and how would you go about any advice for making that paradigm shift?
If things are not clicking,
Yeah.
well, here's what's great, and here's what's different with podcasts and speaking to people directly. With podcasts, the thing is, there's a lot of different people watching. Not everybody needs to hear the same thing. Something which is kind of not a mistake I did, but something which is maybe not best for all of us is to put ourselves in like a backwards position. So like if we're at a certain level where we need to hear certain advice, don't
Hmm.
bring yourself back in those loops. Like if you hear like
Mm.
every self-development is so complicated nowadays compared to before.
Yeah.
Well, maybe before there was a lot of books, but now, even if you're just like going on your phone, like you're being hit with this advice. This is the answer. This is the answer. And everybody wants to be controversial. Everybody wants to feel like they know the truth. Everybody, maybe has something to offer, whatever the case is. So they're trying to build their frame. So there's everybody's frame. If you don't wake up at this time, there's something wrong with you. If you don't do this, there's something wrong with you. Saratoga water is bad for you. Mountain Valley is bad for you. The best water possible is bad. Wait, if you don't, this is the answer. Like everybody's doing all that, and it's like it makes everything more complicated. So there's a at a point you go once you've already gone through all that, you get to a point where there's very specific advice which is better for you, which is why coaching is so good. Like
Yeah.
some of the people I coach, like they've done all the work for like 10 years, and they've went through all the work. There's just specific things that they need, and you can easily tell. But let's say just for the average person, sorry, what was the question again? Like what are the things that for them to change their paradigm? Okay, so let me explain to you, I guess, how I changed my paradigm. So the early days, around 4 years ago, and okay, let me kind of give you an idea of what was happening before. So before, I wasn't really at a ground zero of like I had nothing going for me. So the core, I had so much ambition, so much ambition. Like I knew how successful I wanted to be, probably like before I was 10. And then honestly, it started to, yeah, like I would look outside and I would just like want the maximum, and I knew I wanted to be like, Superman type of thing. And then, and there was actually, apparently, like, people saw that in me because there's this funny story. I never shared this publicly or to people, but like, my parents were just like in awe because, like, when they came to Miami for me to be born, but I was just there for like 6 months and then they moved back to Europe. For me to be born in the US. But when I was there as like a little baby, there was this guy who, like, this homeless guy or something, who stopped me in the street like while I was in the stroller. He was like, "That is going to be the next president of the United States." And they're like, "What the fuck?" Like a crazy moment. And they told me that story all the time. And I was like, "What?" And then after, a lot of their friends would say like things, compare me to certain people, which I'm not going to compare myself to because, maybe they don't like it. So I don't want to create that comparison. But basically there was always this buildup. And so I guess I knew how to feeling like I was going to be successful and I had that ambition. But then obviously what happens when you get into middle school, and then you get into all these stupid things, and then high school, etc. Let's just say up until sophomore, or like up until junior year of high school, it kind of went down. Like I was like kind of accepting, okay, maybe I'll just get a cool house in the future. Maybe I'll just be happy. Maybe I'll just da da da. And then it was still about being above average, but So it was just starting to fade away because my potential was going down. I wasn't maximizing my potential. Essentially, my mind at the time was calculating, eh, I guess I'm going to go this way. Like I didn't have full control over my life. Otherwise, I'd
Mm.
be like, no, I wanted to go there.
Yeah.
So, fast forward, a lot of, doing fun things, doing stupid things, not caring about stuff I shouldn't care about, all that stuff. I just got fed up with it. I think I was just turned seven. I was like recently 17, and I just got fed up with it. Wait, 16. Yeah, recently turned 16, and I just got fed up with it and drama and things like that. And I just like felt like I wanted more respect. I felt like I wanted to feel better. I made a video yesterday where I was like, specifically calling out, and I don't want to only call out, I want to call out maybe more like higher level people and like work with them, but specifically calling out that version of myself. It's like, you think you're having fun. Maybe someone watching this, like you think you're having fun, but that's just like the social thing, like, frat stuff. Like you think you're having fun, but you're actually not. Like those people, like inside or even the day after, like they're not actually having fun. And compared to mission and self-development, that's progress equals happiness. So I wasn't actually having fun, and so I just got fed up with it. It all starts, number one, with the decision. The decision is everything. Sometimes people make the decision to invest, or people make the decision to try, but I could see that they didn't really make the decision. I'm like, no, you don't understand, you didn't make the decision. Like you're trying, you're adding, but it needs to 100% change. You already made the decision. But for other people, maybe a small percentage of people watching this, or especially in the future, if you're coming back to this, I mean, you feel like that's kind of you, then yeah, like that, this is your sign. Like you need to make the decision. That's where all it starts. And the decision can be different for every person, but mine went something like this, and went something like, I'm just gonna commit myself 1000% towards my goals, towards becoming the best version of myself, maximizing my potential, living the best life possible, and essentially like there's no other reality I'm going to accept. And so the second
Mm.
step to do that was to let my old self go, let my old life go, let my old paradigm go, and then that's how you make the flip. That's how you make the switch. So in order to do that, you then need to shed the old identity, the old paradigm, the old habits, environments as much as you can, obviously. Um, and so yeah, you need to identify those. Then in that, if you're in those early stages, dopamine detox is huge because that's normally people's issues are related to bad habits. But also, when you dopamine detox, it allows you to add in the new paradigm way easier because just a short summary of how it works. When you do a lot of pleasurable or bad habits, addictions, whatever, it spikes up your dopamine and then it goes back down, and then you're kind of in a hamster wheel. So if you remove those spikes, and I mean, you still have healthy dopamine spikes, but basically you replace that with like negative things, instant gratification towards delayed gratification. And the more and more you do those delayed gratification habits, the more it actually becomes easy, becomes steady, and you can add them on. Now, in the first couple days, maybe a couple weeks, it's gonna have to be a lot of conscious. Your identity is not even, you're not even this new person yet. You're just like trying very hard to like make the change. So you're gonna have to get through it. Trust me, it's gonna be a lot harder in the beginning, but you're gonna notice it gets easier and easier. And then maybe 2 months down the line, you kind of maybe fall a little bit. You maybe did a little things, whatever, but you're not falling back to square one. You're falling back at a new point because of all the new habits you incorporated. So you're falling back at a new homeostasis level, and then it's all self development is all about building it up, like the Ray Dalio thing, building it up. Steps like a graph, whatever. It all goes like that. So the next thing I did was not just like a lot of people like, oh, I'm just gonna now just try to make money online, start this business. I had to take care of myself. I had to get my paradigm in order. So that's when I eliminated a lot of those kind of like the five core dopamine detox habits to dopamine detox from are include kind of like scrolling in video games, whatever. Then the next one is junk food and unhealthy food, processed foods, all that. The bad thing about that is not just that it's like bad for you, but I think at this age that you're making the change, you don't really care about the longevity aspect of it. It's just the fact that it clouds up your mind, makes you feel like shit, and it makes it harder for you to like focus and like be the best version of yourself. And I'll maybe physical, physique, acne, whatever. Then the next one is substances. So this can be weed, too much alcohol, or other stuff you're doing. Then the next one is kind of like porn and sexual stuff. Then the next one, the I would say the last one is depends on each person. Everybody has their own thing. Like I can't speak to everybody, but whatever think right now, like I gotta let this go. Fuck. Like, I gotta let this go. Whatever comes to your mind, like right away. Every time I've
Interesting.
asked that question to someone, there's something that comes to their mind. So whatever that is that comes to your mind, that's your conscious telling you, I guess this gotta go. This gotta go. So yeah, those are the five things. And so the next period is to go ahead and incorporate a lot of good habits and good habits like working out. Maybe you were already working out, but eating more healthy, paying more attention to it. Obviously, learning things, trying to maybe get into business, learning different skills. And when you get it can even be social skills, going out, spending time with your family, like trying to be happier, meditating, morning
Mhm.
routine, reading. But at that time, you have a lot of like open space. You have a lot, and if you're someone which has already done this, like maybe you could skip 5 minutes ahead. Like, don't go out because it's gonna, speak more to you. But for everybody else, like, yeah, you have a bunch of open space because maybe you don't have a business, maybe you don't have all those things, and you're still changing your life. And so during this open space, this is when I studied. This is when I went ahead and bro, because I mean, you can watch. I guess you can watch like you can fill up your time with 4 hours of YouTube videos, seminar videos, books, watching those things, presentations. That's what you need at that time. Because number one, you need role models, the people like that are in your mind, instead of this idiot on TikTok,
Yep.
is this person which is inspiring you to be like them or inspiring you, giving you the right energy, giving you the right stuff, and then you'll go down the rabbit hole like this guy you really like, this guy inspires you, this guy's cool, I like his life, I love that. And then maybe you have these 5 to 10 core people, and then those are like kind of like your mini mentors, those are like your people, like the top 5 people you hang around. Because maybe you're isolating a lot during that time is probably what
Yeah.
would help you. So those become the people that you hear about. So that becomes, rather than all that negative stuff, that becomes the input in your mind. And then also, you're learning stuff, right? So you're learning stuff and, you're progressing forward. Like your mind is changing and you're going to start to speak different. You're going to start to think different and et cetera, et cetera. Like maybe you don't know, there's like a million examples, but maybe you don't know what an abundance mindset is. Now you know, because this guy talked about what an abundance mindset is. Okay, wait, I actually do have a scarcity mindset. Now you start working on having more of an abundance mindset. And you start adding these things every day, every day, every day. So that was the next step. Then after, obviously, time to like put myself towards something, kind of break out of the matrix, whatever. Like, okay, well, I would either have to go to college soon or get a job soon or whatever. So time to, now I'm a higher level version of myself. Now let me do my thing. And I tried everything. Like I was still kind of doing a little bit of acting, modeling. I was doing some things like with, I had some friends in music and designing. Maybe I wanted to have a design, like a brand, da da da. But then, I tried lot of different online businesses. I tried them all. I tried the agency models. I tried all of them. Uh, and then I was putting like literally a dedicated an hour a day to trying each single thing. And then Etsy dropshipping is what worked for me. So then, boom, that's when I was like, okay, great. I don't have to look. I don't have to go to college anymore. Look, I don't have to get a job. So that's what kind of brought me to that place, leveled up. And then as I was at that stage, higher level version of myself, making money this way. Um, then it was all just about just putting myself in the right positions, had some videos pop off. People wanted to learn. So that's when I started teaching people that. And then when I started teaching people that, being in that position of leadership, then that's when I really found my purpose. when I really found my purpose, it was not just, oh, making money this way, but it was helping other people like that, or just working with people building these things, not just building a business with me and a VA selling some things online. That was cool, but it was about, building something cool, kind of like, you know, leading people or working directly with people. And once I found that that was my purpose, I was like my life was already changed, but then that changed my life once again, took it to a whole nother stratosphere. And and then yeah, since then, I've been turned the mastermind into something, and it's gonna continue to grow into something a lot more, just like extremely valuable, for people in that sense and in all senses. Also, the opportunities I offer there, sales roles and everything. We can talk about maybe business later. And then, also one-on-one coaching and just becoming better at it, not just, doing it, but becoming better at it. And then now, because I know, and after all these live change, all these results, amazing results, I can say right now, probably like follower to whatever ratio or customer to client ratio, that I have probably the highest success rate, like the highest success rate. Like I can say like I have 1,000%
Yeah.
success rate because of the fact that, okay, maybe one person's like 100% success rate because they got what they were looking for, but so many people get way more than they were looking for. And so, I mean, you look at a lot of these guys, I don't like to compare. I don't like to look at competition as much. I like to be one of one, not one of them ones.
Mm,
A lot of those people, they got millions of followers, they got thousands of people, they got hundreds of thousands of people that bought their course or whatever, and then, they're posting like maybe a couple okay results. It's like, what? Like I have more results than that to post, and I've maybe less than 1% of the amount of people which I worked with. So that's great. Okay, maybe if I get like, millions more that pour in, maybe it's harder to keep that ratio. We'll see. But yeah, like it's good. So therefore, now that I know the skill, the value, etc., now I'm obviously doing a lot more content, growth, expansion, and just really build, build out, not just build out this audience to build this whole thing, to build this army of people and be able to reach more people. But that's like purpose right away. Like just being here, this is like purpose because yeah, maybe not. This is not all business. Like literally, the main thought of my mind is not for business. The main thought of my mind is kind of going back to that 6 months thing. Like it just, I got it. Like I feel so good, and I just got to put it out. Certain things just have got to be put out. I believe that I'm like a vessel. I believe that like I was put here and I was literally created. Like so many things about me. Like I gave this idea that, oh, I found my purpose, but way back, like the only things I was good at in school, like the only things, I had something like things I had special was in that field of just, you know, extremely positively influencing someone to do the right thing. And so yeah, that's what I feel like now, and that's the next thing. So you can kind of understand a lot of the stages now and shifting your paradigm. And to make it core for everybody, maybe you're in stage 3 right now, but you need to have the decision, like the shift. Then you need to have the shedding of the past. Then you need to have the adding, for the future, adding the positive. Then you need to get yourself in a good position. You need to, whether that's financially this or that, just you need to get yourself right, break out, get into a good level, higher up in Maslow's law, and then purpose, transcendence, and then whoosh, like whatever else comes after that. So yeah.
that's amazing. That's beautiful. Do you think with all the everything you just shared, like that was just gold dropped? Do you think a lot of that comes from number one, what you were studying, but number two as well, you talked about how you kept on surrounding yourself with people who were much older than you at a young age. You think you learned a lot of stuff and a lot of wisdom and knowledge from them that helped you make that shift? Because I know that was the same thing with me when I was much younger. I'd hang around with my dad and I'd hang around everyone that he was friends with and did business with. They were all 30, 40 years ahead of me and very successful. And all I did was absorb as much as possible. So is that the same as you?
Yeah, I mean, I think. the age thing, yeah, it's just like higher level people. Like I would, watch some people that would be, I would watch some people that would be shout out one of my first online mentors. Like this is the oldest possible example because he died the year after I found him, was Bob Proctor. So
No
I found
way.
Bob Proctor's stuff and I was watching like new videos that he was making. So he was like at the end of his life. But I was also watching younger videos of him. But yeah, it was like old, he was older man. And I think he died like the year or two after I discovered him. So that was like really old. And then obviously there was like younger people like I think Iman now was like 23 or whatever, but he was like 19 or whatever at the time, 20. So that's like kind of like a like oh, me in like a couple years type of thing. I had a lot of like both. But I think also one of the reasons why we're very advanced for our age is and a lot of people see me as advanced in like the older people thing and probably why I'm able to speak so well with people that are even decades older than me is because of the fact that I think at least so there's two parts to it. Number one, I visualize a lot, like I build a lot of my identity. I like to visualize like short-term things, like it's cool, like maybe certain things I want, certain, positions I want to be in maybe in 6 months, in a year, 2 years. But I like to envision the max, like the max abundant. And usually that's a little bit in the future. Sometimes I like think of myself like way, way at the future, like to the end of my life.
Yeah.
And so I spent a lot of time designing my identity as myself like a lot older. So I guess like it all mixes up together and like my internal identity is a lot older than it is now. That's one. Number two, a lot of people say I have like an old soul. People were saying that even when I was a young goon, not doing what I was doing, not doing what I was supposed to do. And then number three is because of the way of life. So one really cool thing about me, you could say, is the traveling aspect. So as soon as I started to get money, I really wanted to just like I just want to be free and travel. Like I love freedom, and freedom is I do a lot of things out of freedom, and I want people to get freedom in the outside world and on the inside. And so yeah, I just did this trip. I think it was like 12 countries in 45 days across Europe, and it was a little bit cold, but it was like pretty luxurious, but also a learning experience, and a lot of things were kind of hard, and all that. So that was that. But then last year, and in between all that, like I'm taking certain trips in the summer and stuff like that. And then I think I did 15 countries or whatever in like a 3 month period in Europe last year. So 20, that was that was like 2 months after we met at the seminar.
No way.
So I did that. And overall 2024, because then I traveled a little bit more after that, I probably went to like over 25 cities, 25 locations, whatever. And all of that is not like, let me be a traveler tourist. That's like work, like main focus, working. Main focus, self-development. Maybe
Mm,
third other focus is gaining insane creativity and just like living life at the highest level. So living life at the highest level is like being in this flow state of going from place to place, like seeing these amazing places. Like I wasn't out in like some depressing place. Like I was, somewhere like Prague, Vienna, Paris, London. Like these are places where it's like beautiful Renaissance. Like I love Italy. Yeah, like Renaissance. You're Italian? Italian
yeah.
roots?
Yeah.
Yeah, last name, yeah.
Yeah.
So dude, like Italy, bro, I love it. Extremely good energy. And I'm not just like thinking about it like, oh, this is the state of Italy now. Like, no, I'm immersing myself in the history and okay, this person built this place which led to the start of the Renaissance of this or that, it changed the world. How did this person start off in their early childhood? Like everything, studying everything, and not just, you know, being there and studying, but that's like proximity, right? And then I go to Athens, Greece, and you know, I'm a great teacher myself, right? But I'm like sitting here reading about, the greatest teachers of, Marcus Aurelius. Wait, Marcus Aurelius, I don't think he was in, no, he was not in Greece. But I also went to Rome, so yes, Marcus Aurelius. Socrates, like I don't know,
Yeah.
all these different names. There's like five core guys. So I'm like listening to all this stuff about them while I'm literally sitting in Athens. And I'm doing this for all these places intentionally because yeah, a lot of these people, they can study all they want, but they ain't doing this. So that's like giving me like a crazy edge, which I feel like right now I'm saying it. This is giving me an edge, which is cool, but I feel it inside. And so that type of proximity, but also the crazy experiences going up, going over and over that you're living, but also early in life. Like I've been through so many ups, downs, crazy things I had to go over, adversity, a lot of things that had made me have to mature a lot younger. And so that all goes together, and kind of speeds everything up. Yeah, so in your mind and in the way of life, you can you can easily get to that point where where biologically you still have way longer to live. You can still only be 20 or 19 or 25, but you can live in a way where you're you're you have the good parts of someone who's lived so much life, lived so much experience. So you have the good parts of that, which, as a man is something very good. And then it allows you to network, do business with people at much higher levels. And there's something special about you. Like, okay, this is like a young energy, young guy with energy, and he's like this age. But like, there's so much stuff about him, and it like weeds you out. And then it's like okay, well, if I'm gonna work with someone young, or if I'm gonna do something, it's gonna be this guy, right? So that's one good thing. But also, at the end of the day, once again, I bring everything into a macro perspective.
Hmm.
In the end of the day, at the end of your life, or when you finish your 20s, do you want to feel like, I just finished my 20s, like, should have done this? Or do you want to feel like, bro, I just lived like a whole eternity, bro. I just feel like I lived so much life. So, you know what I mean? Like, just
100%. 100%.
run it up.
I absolutely love that. Let me ask you a question. With all the places that you traveled and talking with people and mentoring, were you always good at talking? Were you always good at meeting people, or did you have to develop that skill? Because you sound like you are absolutely amazing with speaking, with meeting people. Like you're dialed in. Was that always the case? Because I know for me, I was horrible. I had to learn the whole skill. I mean, I couldn't even talk to a single person, bro. I'd turn red. I'd start sweating it and stuff.
Mm.
So over like two and a half years, putting myself in that same position over and over until just became normal. Was that the same with you?
Damn, but I can't see you like that. That's
Really?
crazy. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, it was bad.
Yeah. Um, yeah, I mean, see, the good thing is, like I said, I wasn't in certain parts, I wasn't starting from ground zero. Like,
Mm,
let's say on a social aspect, before I made my leap into self-development, like yeah, I had a lot of friends. I was going out a lot, like dating multiple girls at the same time. I was doing things that I
uh-huh.
was able, like I had, I guess, some social skills. Like definitely not what I like the type of social skills I want to have now. Like I I refined a lot of it, but yeah. So I had a lot. I had pretty low anxiety when it comes to people and stuff. But obviously, like I would talk like a rapper. Like I
Yeah.
had to change my entire speech, um, just because that's like what was cool. That was the lingo and everything, and that was like my paradigm. So, yeah, I had to, of course, change communication skills, and communication skills is not something that which maybe I don't know if that was for you, but it's not something which you normally change early on. Like it's not something you really focus on early on until you kind of start to go back out, kind of start to go, into the networks, and then you bring yourself to the outside world, and then you're like, okay, I might need to work on my communication. Um, like when I first started public speaking for my groups or making videos or whatever the case is, I would I would know what to say because there's so much input still, even though it was early days, but like I would not speak well. And I'm continuously making it better and better, and especially a lot recently I've been, studying actually that skill. Like all of that is skills. Like you can have a lot, let's say in coaching, like there's so many guys out there that like they know what they're talking about. Like they built the businesses, they've done the work, whatever they're teaching, they've done the work on themselves. But when it comes to coaching, yeah, maybe they can give it, but coaching within itself, being able to translate that into the other person is a major skill within itself. Like, to be honest, I don't know if that might even be more important. I don't know, because if you're able to translate it so well, but you don't really know what you're talking about, you can literally just like take what someone else says and then just translate it better to them. So that's what matters the most, is what they end up doing and what they take in and what they feel, etc. So that's a skill I worked on majorly, and then and then public speaking, like that's something I was like, bro, this is like, bro, it's like, it's like it's like the best feeling. So then, yeah, like that's something I started to speak on better. And then when it comes to connections, you wanted to network, you wanted to make friends, or it's not really something I'm too focused on. I kind of just let it happen, but obviously, like you said, you trying to get the highest level people and stuff. Um, that's something. Okay, the best book for you guys to read, like early days or still now, is How to Win Friends and Influence People. It's it because it's just so easy, simple. I haven't read it in a long time, but I remember all the principles because that helped me early on. So that's something which you can read, or something which you can study, doesn't take too much. It doesn't take hours and hours of videos like I do, breaking down what what Tony Robbins said to change this girl's life, or what you know uh someone like Trump did to make hundreds of millions of people like a cult following, or what this person did. Like, you don't have to study all that. That you can do that later if that's your field. But but um but yeah, so something like How to Win Friends and Influence People, or some other books, will help you a lot in sales, will help you a lot in any industry. Probably if there's one book everybody can read that will give you the most value, it's that book. It will give you the most value because everything is people. You know this. Everything is people in business, in life, in relationships, and it will help you be happier. But yeah, I mean, besides that, the only thing it doesn't cover or wouldn't help you with is like understanding your own psychology. So there's understanding other people's psychology, which makes your life better on the outside world, and then understanding your own psychology. Everybody should study psychology. Like, why would you not want to study how the mind works? Why would you not want to master that? So if you study psychology, you can understand why you do things, how you can make yourself do things, how the mind works so that you can make yourself become like this, like everything. And then you study other people, et cetera, et cetera. Everybody should be doing that. That's not things that so many people think about. And I don't want to, throw shade at certain people, but this is maybe just something you can consider. Like, there's a lot of, maybe you're 25, or maybe you're 21, or whatever. You spend a lot of time working on your business. Like, you're in a really good position. Like, I hear all the time, like I was talking with friends the other day, and they know people that are just have all the money in the world, and have yachts and whatever, but they're like begging people to hang out with them.
Yeah.
They're begging girls to hang out with them, all that stuff. It's like, it happens very, very often. So you might as well in advance want to start, even if you're really good at these certain skills, you might want to add, speaking into it, communication into it, social skills into it, networking into it, et cetera, et cetera. So it comes naturally. Like, build your aura, like build your character. That's all part of it. Part of your character. Like, there's a lot of different things, but part of it is that. And probably one of the key things, just a little piece of advice on that, is, yeah, like learning a lot and everything, but also like not overthinking. Like, there's a lot of different things you can do right. Like, I don't know, say this like this, make your frame like this, like whatever. Like, there's a million different little things. But you don't want to be, overall, you don't want to be on the back foot. You don't want to be down out of 5 and trying to network with people out of 10 and talk with people out of 10. The best thing you can do, well, one of the things you could try to do is become a 10 yourself.
Mm.
To become a 10 on the outside, like, hey, I'm the guy with this, that, like, you want to come to me, like, that's going to take some time. Like, we all have that right now, kind of at a period, but later on in the future, like, we probably won't even have to make an effort, because everybody, you know what I mean, on the outside, it's just like, it's all going to just
Goes in.
happen naturally. But then being a 10 internally, because everybody can kind of see that, if you actually get to know someone. And so to become a 10 internally is a lot of the work and everything. But also, like I said earlier, maybe the tens will like you if you had a 10, but it'll be cool. But there's so many people that are tens. Like there's so many, at least where the tens hang around, there's a lot of tens. Like their friends, all their social circles, everywhere they go, the higher echelon parties, networking, whatever. So the next thing, the best thing you could do is become one of one. Become one of one. Like become like that's you. And then you actually feel it. Not just like, well, yeah, I'm this person, I'm Leo Lorcy, I'm, John, whatever, and I'm one of one. It's like actually like feel that you have, and it's a spiritual thing too. It's a thing connecting to God. It's a thing, it's not a fake confidence thing. Better than saying, oh, I'm so confident because I do this and that, and this is my routine, and this is what I've accomplished and everything. That's great, but you can keep a little bit of that. But then it's also dependent on outside things. That's 10 out of 10. What's one of one is I'm the man because I'm the man. And you feel that deep inside. It's something ahead of yourself. And you obviously continue to prove it in life, but it takes a lot of, identity work, takes a lot of spiritual work. But that's where you want to get to. Maybe you didn't think of it before. That's where you want to get to. The good thing is, if you have a lot of money, if you are a high level person on the outside, if you're 10 out of 10 on the outside, it will become easier to translate that to being 10 out of 10 or one of one on the inside. Just pay attention to it. Hopefully that gave you some awareness. Add it to your arsenal.
100%. Were you always, because you just brought up that connection with God, were you always a believer? Did you always have a connection, or did that come over time? I'm curious.
I would say it's gotten a lot it's gotten a lot stronger over time, obviously, as it should. But I wasn't always like I didn't really like enjoy that much going to church when I was younger. I didn't like my parents were not like too religious too. It wasn't like in the family that much. I don't know about you. I see you have a nice cross in the back.
I've had a crazy journey, but yeah.
Yeah. So, but then when I really like, I guess found God or like came like that is is what this was like before I was this is even before I went through self development fully. And I got in a car crash. This is the time I was living in my life, like kind of stupidly, like I don't give a fuck. It was like YOLO type of things. I can't believe I just said that word, but hopefully that helps you understand. And so yeah, like that was just what I was doing. And so I did stupid decisions. I shouldn't have even got in the car in the first place because of the state we were all in. But I got in the car and there was like five people in the back. I don't know. Like it was just crazy. And so like yeah, we got in a car crash. And so I was uh crashed like straight forward like into the tree. Like if you see the photo after like the tree ended up and everybody and if you know car crash stuff or facts or whatever, you know that that's the worst. That's one of the worst is if you crash into a tree. I don't know, something about the way it's built. Worse than if you crash into like a wall directly because it like pierces through. And so I was in the middle seat with no
Wow.
seatbelt. Isn't that what your parents tell you all the time? Like if you're in the middle seat,
Yeah.
you have to wear a seat. Like would have died, right? Would have just flew right through. Especially I didn't crash from the side, like it was straight through. So would have just flew right through. But what I did, or God maybe do, I don't know, is put my arm, like I put my arm into like the headrest in front of me. I don't even know how that stopped me. Like that shouldn't have stopped me. Like my arm ain't that strong, like especially back then. So me putting my arm right there basically stopped me from going through. And so got out the car, boom, boom. Apparently, thankfully, my friend next to me said that my arm, saved them in a way. So got through, found the open thing, went out, and I was like, "Whoa, like, what's happening?" And I was a little bit buzzed and everything. But then I see my arm like, my arm is like that, like hanging off. And at that moment, I literally fainted. And I literally fainted and everything went like white. Like that's the moment I guess I almost died or whatever. So that moment like everything went white and I fell like obviously I lost my leg and I fell like back onto the ground, but I didn't even hurt because like my senses were out. So I knew I fell, but I didn't feel anything when I fell. And so that moment, like I didn't know what was happening. And it's not like I was like, oh, talking to but obviously like everything went out. And thankfully I was able to talk. And so I was like, water, water. Because I saw people stopped, like what, like they just, this was on Crescent Heights Boulevard, Crescent Heights Street or whatever in LA, in between Melrose, whatever. So this is good area. And so a lot of people, it wasn't in the middle of nowhere, thankfully. And so a lot of people stopped. They brought me this nice cold Fiji. I remember I was sitting like on the curb, brought me this cold, like, did they have like a cooler or something in the back? Like this was the most perfect water. So then I drank it, and then instantly when I drank it, I was just like up. I was like I just went up right away. Like you know that meme when they're
Yeah.
like waking up the guys like oh, up. And so then I was like, I wasn't just up like out of my mind. Like I was
You're
up and I
up.
was like wired. I was like, what the fuck? Like, get me out of here. Ambulance came super fast. Like I saw my I mean I'm making it kind of funny, but like it was obviously not like one of my best friends, you know, another friend of mine, you know, broke their arm, another friend of mine,
Jeez.
like he messed up his back so bad. There was a chance he almost could never walk again. Thankfully, obviously no one died. Um then I have like, you know, this girl was like sitting on someone's lap and she also broke her arm and she was like yelling, like, like crying, yelling like crazy. And so it was a scene. And obviously the ambulance comes and like, oh, we gotta take you. I'm like, I had a, you know, do you remember the term open pad? Right?
No.
So, okay, basically, I guess it was an LA term or whatever, but basically, like, I think I was just living with my dad at the time, not my mom, and so he was just like out, and so I had some friends over. So, you know what I mean? Like, I was like, come on, like, this couldn't have happened. It's like, just can I just call the Uber? Like, I don't want to go in the ambulance. Like, I'm just gonna pretend this never happened. Like, can someone snap it back? Like, come on.
Oh
But
my.
no, they took me, and it was a whole thing. When I'm in the ambulance, I'm like obviously thinking a lot. And then I'm in the hospital and I'm not just getting operated, put on something and then just boom when I wake up. I was sitting there. It was like super late. It was like midnight or whatever. But for some reason I was sitting there for what? Like 5 hours, 6 hours all night until I got operated around like 6 a.m. So I was sitting there, and then obviously, you know, my mom had to come and she was crying, all this stuff. So I was sitting there in the hospital dramatically for like 5, 6 hours, like in pain. I don't know what they gave me. I had to do a lot of contemplating. It didn't come to me right away. I decided, I was like, after that, I was like, okay, I'm going to try to change my life. Like, I shouldn't be doing this. I need to change my path. And I didn't end up changing it that moment. I changed it, you know, a couple months after, but I guess it gave me a seed, it planted a seed. But then after I started to wake up after that, you know, the next days, couple days, or maybe weeks after, I realized I was like, there's a reason. There's a reason I survived. There's a reason this happened for me. Like, there's a reason. And got that's when I really first kind of found God or got connected to God. Because, like I said, I had that seed planted way back of what I was supposed to do in the mission. I just didn't know yet. I didn't really fully find my mission yet, but I was like, I'm here. Like, I'm not just supposed to be doing stupid shit. I'm not just supposed to be living out, floating around. There's a lot of people which, you know, have fun floating around, like, whatever, you can do that. Um, but probably most of you guys, like, everybody here has a purpose. Some people's purpose, like I said, is just to have fun and enjoy life. God is living through them, so maybe, you know, have some euphoria, whatever. But for the most part, everybody through their purpose, through their mission, will live the best possible life and feel the best. So I was like, yeah, I, there's definitely something. God like spared my life so that I can do something better, so I can do something greater, and and yeah, like I just understood it. I was like, yeah, like I'm gonna stop doing this stupid shit. Like I didn't fully stop kind of hanging out and doing, you know, kind of stupid parties and stuff. But like I just stopped living my life with a certain motto of like YOLO and instead doing like, okay, I get it, I have a mission. So that's when I first found it. Um that's when I first found it. And then obviously like kept on growing through there, like throughout self development, like I find it more, and then through meditation you find it more, and then etc. But just more recently, even more um because yeah, like when you go through when you're going through certain things, number one, you need it, obviously, like you need that faith. And and God is greater than like you can even imagine. Like, yeah, I don't want to touch on any religions, but it can't just be like a person or whatever. Like it's like everything. It's a collective thing.
Yeah.
And so, with that being said, God being like within you, if you find God within you, that's literally a superpower. Like you're literally operating from that. Like right now, that's what I'm operating from. And so that's the highest level you can be at. That's the highest level you can live. And and um and yeah, like when you I know I'm kind of plateauing a little bit, but here's the idea I kind of want to get to is no matter kind of what level you're in, you can jump jump through so many flights of stairs with the power of God.
Yeah.
So, like, if you imagine like the infinite intelligence, like there's no limit to it. There's no limit to what's possible. So what if you let that energy, the divine power, uh, all that, all these different words you can use, if you let that flow through you and you operate from that, then think about what level you're going to operate at. You're going to be one of one, that's for sure.
Hmm.
You're going to have a lot of energy, that's for sure. But you're probably going to be doing the right things that you couldn't have even thought of. So God's plan going better than you can even thought of is, I guess, things happening in your outside life, like, well, but also, what if you tap into God and then operate from God's plan, use yourself as a vessel, and yeah, like that's a superpower. And a lot of people, by the way, not if you look at a lot of really high level people, not all like the highest level people, whoever you think like this dude is insane. Maybe he's not talking about it the way I'm talking about, like God and spiritual stuff, but still the things he's doing, the energy, the purpose that he or she is rocking with comes from that same infinite source. So it's the same thing. Whatever way you say it, it's the same thing. So tap into that infinite source. So that's for yourself, your success, your performance, but also, in life, obviously having that faith, being able to connect to it is extremely important. And like I said, with the way the world's going, everybody needs it more than ever. Everybody needs to find it. Everybody needs to live through it, have it live through them. And yeah, that's the answer.
That's amazing. I love how you think. You're able to think in the micro and then bring it out to the macro, and
Yeah, yeah.
just I can see it and feel it through the screen how you're able to tap into that infinite source, into that universe, and allow it to channel through you, and the energy that you bring, the like you're talking about before, not a scarcity mindset, an abundance mindset. You can literally feel, I'm pretty sure when I see you in person, it's
Yes.
gonna be the same exact thing. How does that correlate into your business as well? Because as we begin to wrap this up, I want to end off on the business side, give people some,
Hmm.
even myself, learn, but give people some nuggets, some
I feel like
amazing
you could have
advice on
said
that.
so much. I feel like you could have
I
said
know,
so much about all these topics. I'm
I know.
sorry you didn't get the chance.
We gotta run part two in person. Maybe we'll do like me, you,
Or
and
in
Mihal.
person.
That'd be sick.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Um, so the question was, how does that translate to business?
How does that translate to business? Yeah.
Well, like I said, it's gonna obviously give you, well, I would say business in okay. Well, ideas, that's one way, like you're thinking on a way higher level. Most of the greatest ideas. So a lot of people that think on a lower level and it's very skill based and logic based, they're very good at managing it. They're very good at buying, selling correctly, managing these big companies, maybe managing people within the company, CEOs, whatever. But created those companies, what created those life changing ideas, inventions, whatever, like the device, if you have an Apple computer, the
Yeah.
device we're both using right now, all these things all came from that infinite source. And then after, people maybe don't need it as much when it comes to managing it, etc. And that's totally fine. I'm not saying one is the answer, one's not. Like you need all of it. obviously that's how important it is into business, right? Ideas, the level of thinking. Then obviously you have the people aspect. Like I said, it helps you in the people aspect. If you're here, then it's a moth to a flame. If you're or moth to light, whatever. If you're, if you're down here, if you're only thinking down here, then then it's all about manipulation and getting, and that's cool. Like learning all those things, learning all that persuasion. Like we didn't even talk, we've been talking at
Yeah.
such a high level, we didn't even go through it. But there's so many persuasion things like to talk about. And so, yeah, you can get it here, but when you're coming from that, then it's like you can use a little bit of it, but it's just boom. Like it's
It just
even when you're not even awake, like it's just automatically going because attraction. That's how it works. That's how attraction, the law of attraction, all that works, vibration. And so yeah, so it helps you with the people, helps you with the ideas, helps you with the energy. So it helps you in many ways. But obviously, it comes down to a lot of learning. It comes down to a lot of doing what you got to do, and yeah, like just trying to be the best, just trying to be the best at whatever it is you're doing, and having high standards
yeah.
and
Interesting.
understanding systems. And like I said, it's all like this. Like what got you to one place, and now it's going to get to you to another. Like what helped me get more success in business. Like there's millions of different things. One thing that helped me get more success in business was having success in business before. Another thing that helped me get more success in business is the skills which I acquired. Another thing is certain things I learned, certain strategies I learned. Another thing is certain people I got access to. Another thing is, doing this trip, which made me do this video, which
Yeah.
made everybody want to join my thing. And you know what I mean? It's as long as you're going the right direction, as long as you're going the right path and continuously making the path like higher, higher, it's like better, more efficient, then things are just gonna kind of fall into place. That's not as specific, but I feel like it kind of is. Like it takes care of everything. And the mental work, the programming, the identity, the subconscious mind operates in the same way. It is in a form that like it's the infinite intelligence in a way. Because if you take it away from spiritual into like a mental thing, it's the same thing. Like yeah, it's not going to all be perfect right away, but as soon as you keep upgrading it and you keep always upgrade the software, which is still what I do every single day, and I'm still going to keep on doing it for a long time. Um, Once you keep on doing that, like you might not do 100% of the things correctly every day, but it's all going to take you one direction, and you're going to think more of this way, and then you're going to make more decisions this way, which are going to lead to these things. You're going to handle it that way, on and on. So yeah, that's all it's about. Understanding not to be going down, not to be stagnant, but every single day is improvement. Every single day is growth. Like not only will that get you more of what you want, but like you will feel good in that process. Like it's addicting, yeah, sure some people I guess say that, but it gives you happiness.
Yeah.
Not just happiness. We didn't even talk about happiness much in this thing, but I still consider like I know we're not really touching about on those things, but I consider myself the happiest person. Like I feel like I'm the happiest person in the world. And because maybe, in doing those things, that gives you fulfillment, but then when you
Mm,
go out of it, you don't feel like empty. So then, oh yeah, you're doing the fulfillment, but maybe let's say you take a couple hours, or you take this trip, or you're doing this person like you're like not purposely having fun. Maybe you're resting, so it's still for work, but you're just like doing something else. You're not doing it out of emptiness.
yeah.
You're not doing it out of emptiness. You're doing it where you're already filled, and then you can enjoy life more with other things because you're already filled up and you're able to have more happiness. Now, obviously, a lot of the things we do help with that. Being extremely healthy. I know you take health super serious. Like we both do it probably at the same level. Um and by doing that, obviously your gut is healthier, and then it, makes you happier, etc. Um and by having all these things, obviously the proper relationships make you happier, proper way of life makes you happier, doing your habits in a certain way. Like you'll all learn these things. You all do it, you have the identity of you know, moving forward of being the highest version of yourself. Part of it includes some happiness. And there's a lot of stoic people that are like, oh, I don't care about being happy, whatever. But then they made all this money and they're in this new car that they just bought. They're happy as fuck. So yeah, it's all the answers go down one core thing, which is go there, don't go there, right? So just be aware of it because it's the right thing to do in every possible way. It's always going to be the right answer, and yeah.
Yeah, that's so true. I was thinking back to when you were talking about the flow and things opening up and it's stacking over time. I remember I took a trip. I don't think it was a year ago. It's probably less than that. I wasn't gonna go on this. It was a cruise. I was gonna go on the cruise, and I'm like, you know what? Screw it. I'm gonna do it. Fuck it. Right? We're going on the cruise. Next thing you know, because I went on that, because I opened that door, that window opened up for me, and I took it. I went with the flow. Next thing you know, I'm meeting like 5, 10 people who are literally models that I want to be like in the future. That opens up another thing. Another door opens up. Next thing you know, I meet, who did I meet? I forget what his name was. He basically teaches people how to speak on stage. Like he's one of the like actors get actor coaches, speakers get
Yeah.
speaking coaches. Can't believe I'm blanking on his name, but I met him and I started coaching with him. So I love how you said that about incremental jumps because at least for me, that's the same exact thing that happened. It keeps on going over and over and over and over.
And your subconscious probably influenced you to take that, obviously, and if it wasn't there, then you would have just been on the floating boat in the water. But because you came as that person, it went to that. So it
Tim's
all
story.
builds. Yeah.
That's what it was. Tim's story.
Cool.
Tim's
Cool.
story. It was so awesome. And also love the fact that you brought up that energy part because I mean, if you're not operating from a place of total abundance and you have your health in check and you're maxing that shit out, it's going to be really hard for you to show up for other people in your life and also
Yeah.
your business.
Yeah. So I feel like that's the perfect way for us to kind of close is, yeah, like that's my thing. This is, what you guys should do, whatever. But I mean, collectively, if we all, and that takes us all the way back to like the world current situation, whatever. But in general, if we just all focus on becoming the best version of ourselves, maximize our potential, we will be happiest, we will achieve our goals and everything. But in the end of the day, it's going to influence, well, it's going to help your family or the people you love, the people you care about. It's going to help people you love and care about, which you don't even know yet, which you're going to get from that process. It's gonna, it's just, it's infinite, and it's if everybody does that, they're going to be able to do more for the world. They're going to be able to focus on what's more important. The overall energy is going to be higher. There's going to be more love, less hate. There's going to be more positive thinking, more positive living. Everything's going to be more beautiful, and everything will 100% be more beautiful because I mean, this world is literally in this world, like whatever humans did with it is like, there's a lot of goods, there's a lot of bads, but if you take it down to the core, like it's infinitely abundant. And so depends what lens you see life through. So if everybody sees it through the right lens, everybody gets to that point where they see it through the right lens, then this is just paradise. Like I feel like it is paradise on earth. Maybe not 100% of the
Yeah.
time. Not 100% of the time, but there's times when I really feel like that. Not many people feel like that. And so there's paradise on earth outside because of the way I'm feeling when I'm there, because of my connectedness with the oneness, but also I feel like there's paradise inside of me. Sometimes I feel like literally when you feel the inner body sometimes and like you're like super healthy, super dialed in, all that stuff, or maybe even you just got out of a meditation or whatever, you're just in the right state. Paradise inside of you. Like right now, like we feel like it just, you get what I'm saying? So
100%.
everybody can have that. Like, I feel like if everybody has that, it will obviously help the collective consciousness. They'll be able to help other people more. They'll be able to feel better more through helping other people. Then the other people will feel better. The overall, God will be happier that we're like that, and we're gonna do better things. That's it's the answer. So yeah, people need to stop getting, overthinking it and getting in the way of it. And the good thing is, most of the people watching this, maybe we're talking a lot about here's what you do with other types of people. Most of the people watching this are very young. So we have so much time. We have so much time, but in the same time, remember that sense of urgency. Remember the time we're in. Yeah. Even if you feel like what you need to do, what your main focus is like away from that, it's still in one of the stages. even if you're like, yeah, well, forget all that. I just got to get money right now. Well, that's stage three. Once you get money, you're gonna realize that you're gonna want the next thing. That's great. Focus on that, but it's still all part of the bigger picture.
100%.
Devote yourself to it fully. You're gonna live, and you're gonna live in God's kingdom. Like devote yourself to God's kingdom. You're gonna live that gold. You're gonna live that gold in the life you're gonna see. The gold, like all the material things you want, the life you want, whatever, and you're gonna have it inside in the emotions you feel, and in everything. And I think everybody kind of wants that. So why don't we do it? Just do
100%.
it a little bit more.
100%. I agree. Where can everyone find you?
Um, I'm starting to get in the YouTube game a little bit more. It's like the tip of the iceberg. There's way more which is going to be put on. So my YouTube, want to get more people on there. It's Leo Lorcy. The one, yeah, just Leo Lorcy, not the other one that comes up. Not Leo X Lorcy. It's Leo Lorcy. And then my Instagram is Leo X Lorcy, like a collab. I just found it cool back in the day when I started it. Leo X Lorcy. And then, I'm a little bit trying to get on X here and there, whatever, but that's all that matters. And so you also, find us maybe next time we do another thing together or whatever. But yeah, I really, really appreciate you for having me here. I really appreciate you for taking in the word, hearing everything out. And you like, I can tell that I can see your facial expressions. Like you're really, you're really about it, like you really understand, like you're really tapped in, you're good at what you do. And yeah, bro, like even when I met you, when I met you before, like we didn't even talk, but I obviously knew you were a high vibe person, whatever. And so I'm happy that we're here. Yeah, like there's so much great stuff ahead. It's
100%.
beautiful.
Guys, I'm going to link everything down below in the video. So check Leo out everywhere. Appreciate you coming on. And from the bottom of my heart, number one, appreciate what you're doing because it's an inspiration for other people. And number two, I appreciate you coming on here and sharing that because I guarantee you, whether it's right now or like we said, a couple months or years in the future, this shit's going to change someone's life. So I appreciate
Oh
you.
yeah,
And part two,
100%.
baby. We got to run part two back.
100%, bro. It's easy.
I love it. Guys, thank you so much for watching the Divergent podcast. Stay tuned, like, subscribe. If something hit you hard, leave it in the comments below. Ciao.